Okay, today we're going to be working on group presentations with these 9 problems. Each group will present one of those, 8 problems. Each group will present one of the problems and we'll record it to be posted online. And we're going to go ahead and discuss the problems for 15 minutes before we select a member to present each problem.
A 12 centimeter segment makes a 108-degree angle with a 16 centimeter segment. To the nearest tenth of a centimeter, find the third side of the triangle determined by the SAS information. So we realized that this was a problem that was needed to be solved by using the law of cosines, which is this equation right here. So we filled the numbers in with what was given. So 12 and 16 would be A and C. And we'd put cosine 108, which was the given angle. And we would fill it in, and we'd do our math operations. And we ended up getting the square root of b squared equals square root 518.66. And we solved that, and we got 22.77 centimeters.
What we did is we used Heron's formula, which is S is equal to S minus the 3 sides, but S is equal to 1/2 the perimeter, right there. And so we found the perimeter by adding 16 plus 12 plus 22.77. And we got 25.385, and then we plugged it in along with the sides right here. And we multiplied that all out. We subtracted first, and we got 91.32 centimeters squared is equal to the area.
Okay, and a second way you can do this problem is, since we have the 108 right here, okay, we can use the original information from the problem, which is just the 108, the 12, and the 16, and we could do area equals 1/2 AB sine C there. So equals 1/2 12 times 16 times sine 108. And that'll give you the same answer. So either way works just fine. Okay, one's using the information that you achieved from doing it, that number 5, and the other one's just using the information we're given in the beginning. Either way will work.
So in order to find t for cosine t equals sine t, you have to find the degree where cosine and sine will be equal. So I found that would be 45 degrees, because if you look at a special right triangle, you can see that if you do adjacent over hypotenuse or opposite over hypotenuse, you will get 1 over 1 root 2. So to find what quadrant that you would get cosine and sine for t, I found it would be in the first quadrant and the third quadrant, because doing opposite over hypotenuse or adjacent over hypotenuse, you will get the same answer. So I did 360 plus 45, and I got 405. And then I did 540 plus 45, and I got 585. And those are my 2 degrees.
With tan t equals negative 4.3315, you do tan negative 1 to get negative 77 degrees. And then to get the unit circle degree for that, you get 360 subtract 77 to get 283. And then you have to add 360 to get it in the right range, which equals 643. And then you do the same for the other one, except for the triangle over here. It's not. And then you get 463.
Any questions on that one? Go push pause.
All right, well, you're trying to find the angle of A for cosine A equals cosine negative 110. So you take 360 and subtract that from, you take 360 and subtract 110, and you get 250, which is right there. And that'll be in quadrant 3, and that's a negative, since that's also a negative cosine since you go around the circle. So same thing as negative 110. And then there's a 20-degree difference between 250 and 270, and then you add 20 to the other side to get 290.
How'd you know is that quadrant?
Because that's the other quadrant that's negative. So it should be the top one. All right. So then the other line should be up here.
Okay, click on the blue right there. And go ahead and draw where that would be. Okay.
And then that'll be 110. 110. 110.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so number 2. How long is the shadow cast on the ground represented by the XY plane by a pole that is 8 meters tall, given that the sun rays are parallel to the vector 5, 3, negative 2? So basically, this is the pole, and here's the vector of the sun rays, and we're trying to solve for B. So in order to solve that, we make the vector equal to the pole there, so we do the vector times 4, and we get 20 squared plus 12 squared plus 8 squared, and you square root that.
Wait, why'd you multiply by 4?
To make it the same length as the, to make,
Also the -2 and the 8 would be
yeah.
the same. Okay, got it, go ahead.
Yeah, so then you do, you square root all of those numbers added up, and you get 24.65, and when you get that, you just use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for B.
So what did 24.65 equal?
It equaled the vector, when the vector is multiplied by 4, it equals, this is when you add them all up and square root it.
Okay, so that length right there.
Yeah.
And then what'd you do? Sorry.
And then you use the Pythagorean theorem to solve for B.
Got it, thank you.
A conical cup has a 10 centimeter diameter and is 12 centimeters deep. How much can this cup hold? So what we did, we drew the picture, and then we just used the formula to find the volume. And so we ended up getting 314.159 centimeters cubed here. And then for number 4, water in the cup is 6 centimeters deep. What percentage of the cup is filled? We did a proportion to find the radius of the 6 centimeter deep circle, and then we just did the same formula to find 39.27, and then we divided that by 314.159, and we ended up getting 12.5%.
Wait, wouldn't the radius for a second one be 5?
No, that's for the first one, the radius.
Okay, so another shortcut you can use for this is, and you can use this on a test, is since we're cutting our radius in half, or sorry, yes, our diameter in half, which then in turn cuts our radius in half, and we're making a change by a scale factor of 1/2, since we're dealing with volume, volume is cubed, right? So volume is a cubic measurement. So you can think of this 1/2 being affected cubically to 1/8. And there's your 12.5%. Okay, if we were dealing with area, it would be 1/4 then. Because 1/2 squared, area is a square form of measurement. 1/2 squared is 1/4. But in this case, it's cubed, so it would be 1/8 of the original.
All right, so for this problem, the u equals -2, 3, 1, and so you would multiply all of those numbers by 4, so it equals 8, 12, and 4. Then you subtract each one by v, which is 0, 1, 2, so it would equal -8, 11, and 2. And then if you were if you multiplied 2 of them together, you multiply them and then you add the product to equal 5, and then this one would equal 3. And then you add these two together and you get 8.
Okay, pause there.